The Departed. The Departed. The Departed. Ah, that was one that was good. Hola familia, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna review and explain The Departed. And I know I haven't posted a video in a while. I'm in sophomore year of high school. I got a lot of stuff to do. But I promise I'm going to keep trying to make videos. I'm in the middle of making 2 movies that I'm going to send out. Hopefully both of them will be out by like March. Hopefully one of them will be out by January. Thanks for the support, guys. And I'm going to just hop right in. I'm going to start with a quick review of the movie. And then I'm going to get into the explanation. Because I think that's what a lot of people want to know about. Okay, so for a quick review and synopsis of the movie The Departed stars a tremendous cast. We got Marky Mark, we got Matt Damon, we got Leonardo DiCaprio, just give him an Oscar, guys, come on. We got Jack Nicholson, we got Alec Baldwin, we got Charlie Sheen's dad, Martin Sheen. It's sad that I have to say he's Charlie Sheen's dad because he's gotten a lot of great movies himself, but some people don't know who Martin Sheen is. And overall, the movie's very great. I love the movie. It's the most Scorsese movie, if that makes sense. It's like when Quentin Tarantino made Kill Bill. It's the most Quentin Tarantino-fied movie of all of his. The same with this movie. It feels so much like a Scorsese movie. He's doing all the things that he does to excess, and that's not a fault of this movie. Okay, now to get into the explanation of this movie. I just saw this movie last night for probably literally the 14th time. I love this movie and I've seen it a billion times, and I think I'm pretty qualified to explain the ending. Which brings me to the first point. A lot of people think in the end, spoiler alert, by the way, this is going to be full of spoiler alerts. A lot of people think that Mark Wahlberg is actually working for the mafia. Okay, stay with me. This is why people think that, and this is why I don't think that. A common explanation for why Mark Wahlberg might be a rat is that why did he kill Matt Damon instead of arresting him? A lot of people think that because he was kind of going away from the mafia life and he killed a couple of mafia members, including the other rat cop, he killed him. People think that Mark Wahlberg came to kill him because of those things. And people think also because if Mark Wahlberg was a cop, why would he not just arrest him? Because people think he had evidence. The reason that I think Mark Wahlberg was actually a cop is that there was actually not a lot of evidence against Sullivan or Matt Damon. Remember, he used the other rat in the police station as a scapegoat, which means that he blamed the fact that they knew there was a rat in the police station all on him and none of it on himself. Also, if you remember, there's tapes of Sullivan talking to Costello, so you think, oh, of course, Leonardo DiCaprio has that, why would they not be able to use that to put him away? So if you remember on the roof, he said, screw you, I'm a rat, Frank was my informant.
You got fucking tapes of what? Costello was my informant. I was a rat? Fuck you, prove it. He was working for me. He was my informant.
So Sullivan, Matt Damon, can just lie that Frank Costello, Jack Nicholson, was his informant. So that way he gets away the fact that even though that they recorded everything, Sullivan can say, oh no, I wasn't the rat, I was using Costello, who was a rat, reporting bad stuff to me. In that doesn't work. That's why I think Mark Wahlberg is a cop. And Mark Wahlberg's getting revenge for the fact that Matt Damon was kind of directly responsible for the death of his best friend Captain Queenan, and single-handedly the reason that he lost his dignity in his job, that he took leave of absence, because now that Mark Wahlberg knows that Sullivan was actually a rat, he's understandably mad that the reason that he lost his job and his reputation is that Sullivan was a liar, and he wants revenge on that. Because people think, oh, he's a cop, he won't kill anyone out of cold blood. This is Mark Wahlberg we're talking about. He's still a cop, but he still wants revenge for all the bad things that Matt Damon has done against him. Okay, now on to the second question. What was in the envelope that Leonardo DiCaprio handed Vera Farmiga? What I think was in the envelope was an explanation of everything. Saying that Leonardo DiCaprio, or Billy Costigan, was undercover cop pretending to be a mafia member, and that Matt Damon, or Colin Sullivan, was an undercover mafia member pretending to be a cop. And I think it's instructions that if he dies, or in 2 weeks, give this information to Dignam. That's the explanation, because a lot of people don't know, well then how did he know any of this? He wasn't directly told. He was told through Vera Farmiga. That's another reason why I think that Dignam isn't a cop, not an undercover person, because that's what was in the envelope, and that's how he found out about it. And a lot of people think that it wouldn't have been that because, oh, why would he also send her tapes of them speaking? He didn't mean her to hear it. He meant Sullivan to hear it. So that was a separate thing. Because at this point, he doesn't know that they're husband and wife or that they're engaged. He just thinks they're separate people. So he gives it to her because he can trust her, and he doesn't know that Sullivan's living with her and that she'd figure it out that way as well. And now while we're on the topic of cop or not cop, Delahunt is the mafia member who gets shot and dies. And remember, he tells Billy that he sent Billy to the wrong address, but he showed up to the right one. And he says, "Why didn't I tell him?"
You've never been late in your life. And when I called you, I made a mistake. I gave you the wrong address, but you showed up at the right one, didn't you?
Tell me why I didn't tell nobody, huh?
This leads a lot of people to speculate that Delahunt was an undercover cop. And I saw an interview Martin Scorsese gave, and I don't think he even knows. I think the point is, oh, maybe he is, maybe he's not.
I wondered what that was. Is Delahunt really a cop? It's an interesting point, too. One could look at it that way.
There's an extended scene of this where he just talks about, "I've never murdered anyone, and Frank asked me if I figured out who the rat was, would I murder him?" And he says, "I thought I could do it, but I don't think I can." So this leads me to think that maybe he was either just giving some humanity at the end of his life, or he may actually be a cop. I'm not sure. And now, probably the most shocking scene in the end of the movie is when Leonardo DiCaprio is shot, Officer Brown is shot, and the other cop that was a rat is shot by Matt Damon. And it raises a lot of questions. So a few things. The reason that Leonardo DiCaprio was killed is obviously the other cop rat was trying to protect Sergeant Sullivan or Matt Damon because he's trying to protect a fellow mafia member. And when Officer Brown comes down, he has to get shot because he can't know about this or else they're gonna get towed out, so he's shot. And a big part of the movie, which a lot of people don't remember, is that Matt Damon, I think, doesn't want to be a mafia member anymore. He's trying to become just a cop. He's trying to get out of that life and become a legitimate cop. See, when he was originally gonna give Billy Costigan his information back and give him his money, he didn't want to delete his file. But then when he figures out that Costigan has left and knows that he's a bad guy, he has to delete Costigan's file. That William Costigan doesn't have any proof, and that people, and he'll say, "Oh, he wasn't an actual cop. He's just lying. He's a mafia member, and that they can arrest him." See, he wanted to actually be nice to William Costigan, but he couldn't because now he has to delete his file, or else he's gonna get towed on, and it's gonna look like a legitimate. He's gonna look like a legitimate rat because William's gonna be seen as a cop. So that's why Sergeant Sullivan kills the other cop. He wants to just become a normal police officer again. And when the other guy's like, we were gonna be towed in by Costello, you know, he was gonna rat us out.
Costello was gonna sell us to the FBI. It's you and me now, you understand? We gotta take care of each other, you understand?
He's like, I don't want to be part of this life anymore, and I know, so I gotta kill you. So that's why he kills him. That's kind of the explanation behind it, and that's why Sullivan recommends Leonardo DiCaprio for the Medal of Merit. It's part of a way to cover his tracks and to make himself seem like more of a good guy, because he actually didn't hate Leonardo DiCaprio by the end, because he wanted to get out of the life of the mafia member, and he didn't want to raise suspicion of who Leonardo DiCaprio is, because remember, he's using the other cop as a scapegoat for all the bad things that he's done. He's saying that there was him as the other cop as the rat. So that's kind of how the ending plays out, and that's why I think Sullivan recommends Billy Costigan for the Medal of Merit, and that's why everything goes down the way it does. All the different deaths are for those reasons. As I said earlier, even with the tapes of Sullivan talking to Frank, he's saying that Frank was his informant. He's saying that Frank was working with me. I wasn't a rat. I was using him to get information about the mafia. Which leads again to why Dignam killed him, because that's not enough information to put him away, and he knew that he had to get killed because he killed Queenan, and he's a bad guy. So that's why Dignam killed him in the end. Contrary to what some people say online, there was not enough information to put Matt Damon away. So that's why Sergeant Sullivan kills Officer Berrigan, the other cop, so that he can use him as a scapegoat and so that he can get out of the mafia life so he can become a real respected cop and loyal. That's also why he wants to move to a new city, because he knows if he keeps being a cop here, there's too many mafia members that will reveal, hey, he's not an actual cop. So he wants to move to a new city with Vera Farmiga, and Vera Farmiga wants to do that too, because the kid, I think, is Leonardo DiCaprio's kid, and she wants to get away from all the, Leonardo DiCaprio and all the crap that's been happening in her life. So that's why they agreed to go to a new city. Sadly, he doesn't live long enough to do that because he gets shot in the head by Mark Wahlberg. Play that clip! That's just so satisfying to watch for some reason. Let me just play it one more time. Oh, yes. I love that shot. Even though he starts to show a bit of humanity at the end, it's a Scorsese flick. So it's gonna be kind of a tragedy. And, the good thing is, in Scorsese flicks, you see people living the bad life and they think it's good, and then they always get kicked in the ass. In this case, shot in the face. And also, if you notice throughout the movie, everyone who dies has an X over them at some point. There's a lot of clips of Leonardo DiCaprio, like in the airport, there's X's over him. In jail, there is little thing that he's walking on before he gets killed is X's. Everyone who dies has X's around them. Anyway, I think that just about sums up all the questions that people have for The Departed. If you have some more questions, leave them in the comment below, and I'll make a part 2 explaining those questions. I'm sorry, I've been gone recently, of late. I don't know, some phrase like that, but I'll try to keep making more videos. If I see I'm gonna make a review of Star Wars Force Awakens, I got freaking tickets of the night before it even freaking comes out because some theaters are doing that. I will see you guys in the next video or in my next movie that I make. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later. Now watch me throw this card. That was actually pretty good. Bye bye.